welcome. My name is Faith, but I'd like to be called Faithelicious. Thank you so much for being a part of the program here today. I am so excited because I have someone interesting joining me today. It's different, right? Yes, so it's a special feature.
This was done in partnership with the Storyteller Company, telling stories, changing lives.
I have with me our special guest, Toks Aruoture, and I will call her a friend of the house. Nice to have you here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
All right, so I don't have her for too long, so we're going to have a very quick conversation. I thought that we should discuss on growth mindset and a fixed mindset, and maybe look at some pros and cons. How to develop the ones that we think that is better, because I'm not trying to let the cat out of the bag at the moment, but a growth mindset. So I have here as definition that a growth mindset, they're both terms that were coined by a psychologist. I think it was Carol Dweck. I remember reading that.
Yes.
And they were trying to describe the two different approach to learning and
Right.
intelligence.
Right.
So Carol defined growth mindset as growth mindset believes that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort, learning, and perseverance.
Right.
That's a growth mindset. And for the fixed mindset, it says a fixed mindset believes that abilities and intelligence are static and unchangeable.
Right.
So let's have your
Okay.
take.
So a story, because I'm a storyteller.
All right, awesome.
I grew up, real blessed to have had great parents, and I'm the only girl sandwiched between two brothers. So
Okay.
I had a lot of attention as the only girl, but it was just my parents' nature to really celebrate and praise their children. And the one word they always said, "Oh my gosh, you're so intelligent, you're so intelligent." Well, I developed a fixed mindset because of that.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't realize it until much later. And so what happens to children who are praised, not all children, because personality comes into play as well.
Yeah.
Some children who are praised a lot believe that they were born with their intelligence. And yes, I believe I can do anything. They believe they can do anything because their parents have told them that. However, when they get to a point where they're stuck, they think there is no possible solution to it, because all of the intelligence that exists, they already have it. And if they're not capable of overcoming this one obstacle, then it cannot be overcome.
Yeah.
So they end up stalling and end up not being able to progress forwards, which on the surface sounds very limiting, but in practice, when it first starts out, it may come across as sounding very limitless, and it may sound very hopeful.
Yeah,
Like, oh well,
yeah.
they can do anything. They're
You're encouraging them.
yeah, and you think like that she can do absolutely anything she can, but in reality, she thinks she can do everything she can until she can't do everything she can, and because of the lack of growth mindset, she's stuck. She can't progress.
Now, someone would listen to that and think, are you saying parents shouldn't endorse their kids, especially when they show those traits?
No, so it's the language that's used. So as opposed to "you are so intelligent," you can celebrate them for what they're doing, not necessarily "this is who you are."
Oh, right.
So you are capable. So parents need to encourage the abilities in their children as opposed to who the children are themselves. And well, I'm the one with the ability, so already I know that I'm gifted. I know that that's a positive thing. But when you tell me that I am beautiful, for example, there are young ladies who believe that their body and their beauty is what they're going to use to get, and it's not necessarily going all the way left, but it might just be, well, I don't need to study so hard. I just need to smile at my lecturer.
And I'll get what I want.
I'll get what I want. I always get what I want because, and again, we're not saying parents shouldn't praise their children. Please do, because it raises their self-esteem.
Yeah.
But you've got to always recognize the effort that the child is putting into, and don't just say you are intelligent, because you tell a child they're intelligent, then they believe they were born intelligent, and some people are not. And that's not true.
Yeah.
Like, everyone is at a different level, and everyone can grow and everyone can learn.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the growth mindset then, because obviously it seems that of the two, it's better to have the growth mindset. How do we go about that?
Yeah, so it's one, recognizing and celebrating your own successes. So personally, you've got to stop every time you do something well, always stop. I was speaking to a client recently, and they were telling me about their challenges, and I was like, okay, hold on a second. I noticed that you're only talking about the negative, and you're only talking about what you haven't accomplished, what you want to accomplish but you haven't done, where you have failed, the deadlines that you've missed, but you haven't told me what has worked that's got you to this point.
Yeah.
And that's how we are. You know, we focus so much on the things that are not working out. And part of it is due to the primitive brain looking out for danger, for our protection. So we're sort of wired to look at the negative. And so stop and recognize the milestones that you're hitting and celebrate them. That's one way in which you can cultivate the growth mindset. Then even the word growth tells you that you never stop growing. You've got to continue reading, continue learning. Don't ever come to a point to say, that's all that I've accomplished everything. And then not just grow in the vertical direction of career or education, but also grow in experience and grow in width as well, in breadth. So you do that by incorporating and learning things that you wouldn't normally learn, the arts, music, and just do things that are not necessarily career focused, but allow you to grow in experience. And finally, one other point is to listen more to people. We learn a lot from listening, especially listening to older people. I love hanging around old people. When I meet people, when I say old people, seniors is what I should say. I love hanging around seniors. When I meet seniors, I ask them about their lives, because they have experiences that I haven't had yet. And the practice of listening is really helpful, because you learn more when you listen than when you're speaking.
I totally agree with you there. I remember my uncle, that my dad's elder brother, he's a storyteller too.
Wow.
And whenever he wants to, when you sit down with him, because he's always interested in talking with young people. And whenever you want to sit down with him and talk, and you ask a simple question. I remember once, I forgot the question, what we asked. He just sat back in his chair and said, in 19...
I love it.
Once he starts, and then he will tell you, it was 2 p.m. I remember, because the clock was on the wall. It was afternoon, it was raining. He starts creating this picture before he gets to the point. So sometimes when you just want a quick answer, that doesn't work. But it's beautiful, because, first and foremost, he's trying to teach your mind to visualize.
Right.
And then he's also passing information to you in a way that you won't forget, because it came with a picture.
Exactly.
So I totally agree that, in fact, I am of the opinion, it's a suggestion, I'm thinking of it, that we should actually have libraries where we have like a club of old people just gather, right? And then young people come into this library, and instead of checking out books, you book sessions with these people and listen.
Goodness, that is such a brilliant idea.
Beautiful. I think it's something, now that I've said it on camera, I hope that somebody doesn't steal it. But if you do steal it, by all means.
If you do steal it, do it well, please.
Yes.
Find really good old people who have
because
stories
that way
tell.
it benefits the young and the old. They like telling the stories. They love telling the stories, and the young people now have an opportunity of actually being informed, because it seems like we're losing history in this part of the world, and I think it's something that we should do.
I absolutely, I think that is something we should discuss further, because I think it's something you should take up.
Oh yes. No, so back to our fixed and growth mindset. So I thought to share some of these attributes or traits that a fixed mindset would have, so you understand why we're veering towards the growth mindset. So a fixed mindset, some traits they have, the fear of failure. Fear of failure would prevent individuals from trying new strategies, especially when you have a fixed mindset.
Yeah.
That is something. And then, unfortunately, failure tends to define these people. Once they failed, they're like, I'm a failure. I can't amount to much,
Yes.
and you just quit. They're the ones that quit. And my saying, I love saying it, is winners never quit and quitters never win. All right. Yes. And then people with fixed mindset fear being judged by others. They fear it a lot.
Right.
And like I said already, they give up easily, and they are threatened by someone else's success. When someone else around them succeed, they feel that it's going to overshadow them,
Right.
and they're threatened by
That
it.
should have been me.
That should have been me. And they often ignore legitimate criticism. In fact, they don't take criticism very well. These are just a few. There's so many more. They're just a few traits for a fixed mindset. While on the other hand, a growth mindset, they have the belief that talent and intelligence can be developed. By the way, a fixed mindset actually believes that talent and intelligence are set in stone.
Yeah.
It's set in stone, like what you said. You're
we're
born with it. You're
That's
either
it.
born with it or you're not.
Yes.
It's either black or it's white.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
But a growth mindset believes that you can develop,
Right.
these things. They believe mistakes are a crucial aspect of the learning process. So they're not afraid to make mistakes.
Exactly.
And because they're not afraid to make mistakes, they improve constantly.
Right.
They take on challenges as well as risk, and they stay motivated by the idea of challenges. And one thing I love about challenges is after you overcome it.
Yes.
It's like when you get to the top of Mount Everest.
Exactly.
Never been, but I can imagine what it feels like.
No, you're right. It's true. It's absolutely true. And because challenges is really just you outside of your comfort zone.
Yep.
And we've got to guard against putting our energy towards reeling ourselves back into the comfort zone. Subconsciously, we grade safety against success.
Yeah.
I would rather stay in the space that I am than take a chance and risk losing my safety.
Yeah.
Before I started my podcast, Living Inside Out, I got to a point where I was physically aching all over my body. And I admitted to myself that the ache was caused because of the way I was squeezing my story in. And I didn't want it to come out. And I didn't want to start the podcast because I was going to risk the image that people had of me.
Yeah.
The portrait I have painted of myself, I want to keep it that way in the eyes of people. I don't want to get onto a podcast, start recording, make some mistakes, and then get judged for it.
Yeah. Very true. Very, very true. So one of the other traits that someone with a growth mindset has is higher quality of relationships. They're able to better manage relationships. I mean, think about it. You fix mindset. If you think that you're born with it or you're not born with it, you're going to be poor, relating with people. It means you don't give enough room for adjustments, for errors, and I think that is one of the issues that a lot of relationships are going through at the moment. And then there is also, with the growth mindset, there's also a lower risk of depression. Yeah, there's a lower risk of depression because you give room for mistakes.
Exactly.
And you see it as not the end of the road, but a bend in the road. Right. As against the fixed mindset saying this is the end.
This is it, yeah.
And then they just wallow in self-pity.
Right.
Right. So, with this conversation we're having, what do you think we're telling you to have? Because here's the other question I have for you. For anyone now who has, gone till this point in their life, with that fixed mindset, without even realizing that that's what they have, what's the journey to transition? Yeah.
So it's baby steps. First of all, is recognizing that there is an issue there. Knowing what the risks it's causing to your life and to your dream is, because a fixed mindset puts your dream in a very precarious position. And so knowing yourself and then being open to the criticisms or the suggestions of other people is maybe a better way of putting it. If you've got the right people in your space, then they also want you to be better. They're not competing with you.
Yes. Surrounding yourself with people with growth mindsets.
Exactly. Surrounding yourself with people of great minds. Shutting your mouth and listening more is really, really important. You learn more about yourself when you watch what people are mirroring back to you.
Yeah.
So how you present yourself to the world is what the world's going to represent you back to yourself. So if you want to learn more about yourself, watch how people are treating you and watch what they say about you. Now, these are not social media commenters who don't know you and are commenting and pronouncing judgments on you, and they don't have. But these are people who are in your life.
Yeah.
A great starting point is to do a personality test as well. I love the Strengths Finder test, the VIA Strengths Finder test, which categorizes all of your strengths and highlights the top 5 strengths that you have.
Okay.
Something else that I tell my clients to do is to send a message to maybe 5 or 6 close people in their lives. Emotions are transient, they're very powerful, but they make bad leaders.
Yeah.
When you're being led by either of those emotions, of the pursuit of joy or the escaping from pain, you are likely going off tangent, going off the path you should be traveling on.
I often phrase it this way, that feelings are terrible leaders, but great followers.
Oh, wow.
Because your feeling is going to, like you said, you're transient. However you feel right now, you're going to feel differently based on the decision you take.
Absolutely.
So your feelings will follow you. Just lead them. Don't let them lead you.
Yes, that's it. Love that. Yeah.
Well, that's all we can take today. I think at this point, I'm just going to remind you to nurture a growth-oriented mindset. That's do you agree with me?
100%. Absolutely. Absolutely. Go for it.
All right. So that's all we can take. Thank you so much for being a part of the program. And I hope I can drag her here again. It's a very rare privilege to have Toks here. But I'm happy.
You.
I'm happy to have her.
Thank you. Faith.
Until next time. Bye-bye. Take care.